People who forgave their partner for cheating. How did that turn out? I caught my husband Mark cheating while I was 7 months pregnant with our second kid. The whole world just collapsed, you know? Here I was, huge and exhausted, thinking we were building this perfect little family, and he was off screwing his coworker from the accounting department. Found out through the most cliché way possible. Saw the texts on his phone when he left it on the kitchen counter. The confrontation was brutal. Lots of crying, screaming, him making every excuse in the book. It didn't mean anything. I was stressed about the baby. She came on to me. The usual bullshit cheaters say when they get caught. I was so angry I could barely see straight, but I was also terrified. How do you blow up your whole life when you're about to have a baby? We tried to make it work after Emma was born. I mean, we really tried. Couples therapy, long talks, him being extra attentive and bringing me flowers every week, like that would somehow erase what he did. But I couldn't get past it. Every time he was 5 minutes late from work, every time his phone buzzed, every time he was just a little too friendly with the checkout girl at the grocery store, my stomach would drop and I'd be right back in that moment of finding those texts. The trust was just gone, completely obliterated. You can't force yourself to trust someone again, and God knows I tried. I'd lie awake at night wondering if he was really asleep next to me or if he was thinking about her. It was eating me alive. So when Emma turned 1, I told him I was done. We separated, got lawyers, did the whole divorce dance. It was messy and expensive and heartbreaking, especially watching our son Jake, who was 4 then, trying to understand why Daddy didn't live with us anymore. Jake took it really hard. He kept asking when Daddy was coming home, why we couldn't all live together like his friend Tommy's family. I tried to explain it in kid terms, that sometimes grown-ups can't live together anymore, but we both still love him very much. But how do you really explain infidelity to a 4-year-old? About a year and a half after Mark moved out, Jake, who was 5 by then, came up with this plan. He had been going back and forth between our houses, and I think he was getting tired of the whole situation. One Saturday when Mark was dropping him off, Jake announced that we were going to have a meeting and that we both had to stay. He dragged us into his playroom and made us sit in these tiny plastic chairs from his tea party set. I'm talking chairs meant for toddlers. Our knees were practically touching our chins. Jake stood in front of us like some miniature judge, all serious and determined. Daddy lied and lying is bad, he announced, crossing his little arms. You have to say sorry to Mommy. Mark looked mortified, but Jake wasn't having any of it. Say sorry right now or you can't come to my birthday party. So there we were, 2 adults crammed into doll furniture, and Mark started apologizing. Really apologizing. Not the half-hearted stuff from before. He told me he was sorry for breaking our family, sorry for hurting me, sorry for putting Jake through all of this. His voice cracked and he started crying, which made Jake cry, which made me cry. When Mark finished, Jake looked at me expectantly. Now you have to forgive Daddy. I looked at this sweet kid who just wanted his parents to stop fighting, and I said, I forgive you, Mark. And I meant it, in a way. Not forgive as in let's get back together and pretend it never happened, but forgive as in I'm letting go of this anger that's been poisoning everything. Then Jake asked if we could be a family again, and I had to gently explain that forgiving someone doesn't always mean things go back to the way they were. That sometimes when trust gets broken, it changes things forever, even when you forgive. Jake seemed to understand that, actually. Kids are more resilient and perceptive than we give them credit for. That little intervention really did help us, though. Something about being forced to sit in those ridiculous chairs and have our 5-year-old mediate our issues put everything in perspective. We started co-parenting better after that. Jake's 10 now, Emma's 6, and they're both happy, well-adjusted kids who know they're loved by both parents.